means. Noticing the skull behind you, some nice like artwork and pieces
Oh
on
yeah,
your
what
shelf
back there.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my
Nice.
office.
Some Akira.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I got Kira up there, and there we go. Yeah, I'm looking at the books behind you as well. I see Black Side behind you. So I got
Oh
a
yes, yeah, that's a great one.
yeah, I got the newest one. I still haven't sat down and read it yet.
Yeah,
Gonna
yeah.
read the two-parter bit.
Yeah, I read a little bit every night before bed, but it's hard to squeeze everything in. It really is. I try to keep up.
Oh yeah, right. And yeah,
Yeah,
there's so much now too. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, in case you're joining us, this is Words, Images, and Worlds, and this is the second time I've had the chance to talk with creator Alex Cormack. Alex,
hey,
thanks for joining again.
absolutely. Thanks for having me back. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. The last time we were talking together, I think we were focused on the book series that you were doing with David Pepos at the time. That was The Devil Wears My Face or The Devil Who Wears My Face, if I'm getting
Yep.
that title right.
Yep, that devil. Yeah, where's my face? Where's my pants? He's that devil's a
Yep.
punk.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Your artwork is always stunning and delightful, and also terrifying at the same time. It's a rare combination.
Well, thank you so much. That's kind of the plan. So I'm glad to hear it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been working since we last talked on Buried Long, Long Ago.
Yep.
You have a series, Medieval, as well with Comixology. What else has been happening in the in between? What's been new in the journey?
Let's see. So I got those two out. Yeah, very long ago. The trade will be out, I think, on the 25th of November.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, Medieval's just getting going right now. I'm still got one more issue to draw, but issue one's out now. But yeah, but anything else that's going on? Let's see. I just did a one shot called Family Matters with J. Michael Donahue, which is a werewolf story, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Then at the same time, still doing more sync with that, and
Yes,
so that's
John Lee's
yeah
great.
we just did a Kickstarter which went really well, and just wrapping up the issue right now, and then I got some other projects that I can't exactly talk about, but I can give hints to. This one's gonna be like this kind of which is kind of a fantasy type book, which has been fun because I haven't done too much fantasy type of stuff. I mean, Medieval's had like Knights in Armor and all that stuff. Very long ago had a little bit of that, but yeah, this one's more of a. No, I can't say too much about it, but it's a fantasy book, which
Cool.
has been
Cool.
a lot of fun. And then at the same time, I got there's a few other things that I can't really talk about yet, just haven't been announced, but are on the docket. So I'm not out of work yet, which is good.
This is very good. This is very good. I'm just picturing like a showroom floor with all of these things that are covered up with like drop cloths, and you can unveil them at a certain point,
Yeah,
but
right.
not yet. Not yet. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. What's it been like to work on Buried Long, Long Ago? I know that you've worked with Anthony Cleveland in the past, so curious about this project.
Oh, it's yeah, he's great. Yeah, the book itself was I mean, probably the heaviest book I've ever done, just because it was based off of a true story. Even though what we did was we took like the true story and mix it in with this kind of almost like fairy tale esque type of storytelling with it. But but yeah, no, but yeah, Anthony's great. He's such a good guy, and man, that guy can write horror. And it's funny because he like uh, we were on some we were talking at one point, and he's talking about like past jobs he had where he worked at and I'm gonna get him wrong. He's probably gonna text me later, but it's like he worked in a mortuary. He worked like some really heavy duty like horror esque jobs, and I'm like, man, I feel like a poser, like I've never done anything like too heavy that you're talking about. I mean, I watch some horror movies. That's about it. But he's like, oh yeah, I had to work with the police and had to go into like crime scenes and be like, oh, there's a dead body in here, a dead body there,
Wow.
and yeah, something like that. And I was just like, yeah, I used to deliver stuff to hospitals then, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything heavy, but
Yeah.
but no, I mean we had a blast on that, and And yeah, I hope we can do some more stuff in the future and all that too. So, but yeah, no, very long, long ago was yeah, that was a heavy book to draw, and but no, it was. I'm super happy how it turned out, and yeah, I hope people liked it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that trade is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Um, I know that there's that historical aspect of it. So did you have to do any kind of like research to get certain images, certain
Oh,
color schemes and inspirations, things like
so,
that, beyond the dead bodies?
yeah.
Just curious about that.
Oh, that was the nice thing for me because Anthony did all that work basically for me. Because so
Oh,
this is the thing.
wow.
So for him, this was like he's been wanting to do this since like this was his passion project. He wanted to do this as like since like middle school or something like that. And because he grew up around the area where all the crimes happened, where this really like it was like down the road for him, And like they went. I
Mhm.
guess the story goes like he went on a field trip there in like middle school or like elementary school, and they're like, "All right, come on, kids, this is where they killed all the people. This is where they buried everybody." And
Like
so,
every field trip.
oh
It's like
sure,
every
yeah,
field trip.
and but so he had this on his mind forever, and I guess like he made a short movie to like in college, I guess. But and he was working all the stuff, and but he always had this kind of comic idea in his back pocket. And we were doing another book that uh, for I'm pretty sure for legal reasons I can't talk about. It was an aftershock thing, and and but while we are doing that, actually even before that, he's like, "Hey, I had this idea for this story about Belle Guinness, and I never heard of her or anything, but he told me all about it, and so we did some. We started working on stuff like that. I did some preview pages, a segment that was eventually an issue too, and we pitched that around, and some people were like, "Hey, we like this, but we kind of like this other story that we are also doing, which ended up being picked up by Abshock, and we all know how that all went." And
Mhm.
yeah, and but we always had this other one in the back pocket, and luckily the folks at Mad Cave really dug it. But to answer your question though, for the research, because this was a passion project of his, he already had all the stuff. So he sent me. I was like, "Yeah, I'm game. Let's do it." He's like, "All right, great. Here's 4,000 folders of like here's like newspaper articles. Here's the photos of the real people. This is the farm it happened. Here's like a drawn out map of the farm. Here's this. There's this." So I was like, "Oh, great." So I for my research, I just looked at what Anthony gave me, and like
Yeah.
I think the only thing I dug up was that we found out that like somebody else did a comic book of the story back in like 1930 or something like that in a very kind of like Popeye style. But
Nice.
yeah, and which now I mentioned it, I meant to buy it, but I never got around to it. No, I have to see if it's up somewhere. Um, but yeah, so no, yeah, but it was one of those things like one of the shot like one of the things like was like crime photos and all this, and he was like I was like, oh yeah, like joking around, like, oh, I'll have to put this one in here. And he's like, oh yeah, that's so and so. There, and he told me this gruesome story of whoever this person was, and I was like, oh yeah, I should be. This is not a thing to make jokes about. This is like these are real people, and this really happened. And like, all right,
Mhm.
it was kind of a sobering thing opposed to like, you know, like drawing any other horror book. And like, oh, this is we're gonna get gruesome and bloody on us, but it's also no one really got hurt. It's all make believe. It's just everybody's going to go home okay in the morning, and if I draw somebody brutally gruesome out, I can then draw them getting up and be like, well, that sucked. I'm feeling better now though. All right, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But you can rewrite history a little bit that way.
I actually did that in
Rewrite the rules.
yeah, so I forget if I said this, but the book I did with Rich Dewick, Road of Bones, that we did a while ago, that was the very last thing I drew for that was like all these guys were going through like basically this like desert of snow and mountains and freezing to death and all this stuff, um and it was this big horror story, and so when it was all over I was like I gotta give these guys a break, so I drew them all like at a pool like in the sun barbecuing having like margaritas like
That's
wearing
awesome.
Hawaiian shirts, and like I give them, even the dead guys, I'm like I gotta give you a vacation, just put your feet up, get some sun, put Jimmy Buffett on, and take five.
And hopefully you got to do the same thing at the end of the artwork as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, no, probably not. I probably had to get See, that's the problem with this job. It's because like once you're like, ah, great, I'm done, and then it's, oh shoot, I'm done. I still got bills. All right, what else are we
Uh,
doing? Yeah, cracking on the
uh,
next thing. What's the next thing?
Yeah, you were talking about Anthony sending you those materials, and that's a part of comics collaboration that I've only found out since I've been doing this podcast, which is that as a writer or an artist, you can exchange images and say, "I'd like it to look like this," or "This is that thing that I'm talking about." That's kind of a nice affordance to getting to work with someone as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And because I mean, yeah, and especially with Very Long Ago, it was, because it was real people. Like I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
draw exactly because like I was trying to be respectful to people who actually died. Like and so like so a lot of the faces were kind of like Bella Gittes was kind of, her face was kind of the same, but like the haircut she had, I've said this before, but the haircut I gave her was my fifth grade teacher's haircut, who I
Uh-huh.
did not
Uh-huh.
like. So I was like, take that, you know. And but like, and the daughters were the little similar, but like the oldest daughter especially didn't look anything like the real oldest daughter, and it was just kind of a way to kind of separate like this stuff really happened, but we're, you know, this there's also some fantastical stuff going on over here, and we're having a good time, and even though it's a heavy story and all that, but it was in a slight way to kind of be like, oh, I'm gonna draw the exact same person and like have them acting this way, even if I don't know how they acted or not because they're a real person. I wasn't there, but to like kind of
Mm-hmm.
make up a new face, it's almost like when you watch a movie based on a true event, like you know, it just like having an actor there kind of separates it from like the real thing, even if you are telling the real story. Like if you're watching like Apollo 13, you're looking at Tom Hanks, not Jim Lovell. That only came up because I just saw that it was on TV. But
Good example, though. Very good
yeah.
example. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Uh, Now, you've also been working, as we were talking, on Medieval with Neil Clyde.
yep,
So I'm curious about what that's been like and what that change has allowed you to experience as well.
yeah, no, that's been yeah. Again, I'm lucky because everybody I've worked with has been really great. I've been like every job I like, and I'm like, oh, great, I got a new friend. All right, so but yeah, so this came about because I guess Neil saw either Drive Like Hell or Devil Wears My Face or one of those books that I just said. He reached out to Rich Dueck, who wrote Drive Like Hell and Road to Bones, and we've done a bunch of books together.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Listen, I'm looking for an artist for this thing," and he contacted me, and I was like, "Yeah, that." Well, it's funny because he sent me the story idea, and I was like, "Oh, this is because the whole idea is this." Gentleman and I'm gonna mess up the title. It's a Mark Twain book, Gentleman in King Arthur's Court. Uh,
Hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But but the whole his whole idea was to take that type of story and instead of like this kind of like gentleman like Connecticut type of guy, he's taking this New York Yankees like uh, jerk and sending him into the past. And so yeah, that guy would deal with everything. And but you know, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up going to Fenway Park like with my dad and my brother and my family and all that. And so I grew up as a like hardcore Red Sox fan. And as much fan I am, like my brother, my dad, and the rest of my family are much more hardcore than I am. Like, you know, my brother knows the stats going back to the beginning of the, you know, the team itself, and he knows like all this type of stuff. So, and so I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this book about the Yankees, you know, I gotta make sure that everybody's cool with this, and that, you know, people will
Hmm.
talk to me after. So I told Neil, I'm like, yeah, I'm game. I like this idea, but I'm from, you know, I'm from Boston area, so I gotta make sure I gotta make some phone calls before I really commit. And they're just like, yeah, you do it. Just make sure you throw in some like Easter eggs, like kind of kicking around the Yankees a little bit. So
Yeah.
and yeah, so but yeah, once I got their blessing, then I was like, all right, great, I'm in. And yeah, it's been a blast, and it's been so much fun drawing knights in armor and King Arthur stuff. And just, I mean, you know, I dug that stuff when I was a little kid, and now I'm drawing a book about it. Even though the Yankees guy, but yeah, He's all right. But no, it's been a ton of fun, and yeah, I'm in the middle of issue 5, which is the uh, like the last issue of this kind of run right now. And but yeah, no, I'm gonna miss these guys. It's been a blast to draw, and I hope people are digging it.
Yeah, cool, cool, very cool. Yeah, issue 1 is out, and more on the way.
Yep,
Of Medieval. Yeah. You mentioned that there are things that are next, so looking forward to that. I know
yeah.
you can't say much about the showroom floor that's covered with NDAs, but looking forward to it. If I'm a listener and I want to find out more, where are some places I might go to do that?
Oh, you can look me up on geez, just Google me. Google Alex Cormack. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter, Threads. What are some of the other new ones? I don't know. But no, I'm on social media and all that. So you can just find me around there. Just my name, Alex Cormack. And yeah, no, I'll post about all this stuff all the time and repost stuff and very friendly.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the kindness, appreciate the conversation. Glad to have you back anytime. Did we miss anything that you want to make sure to include?
Uh, just everybody go buy my books and you'll have a happier life.
There you go. There you go. Good advice. Many, many thanks.